All right, welcome into another edition of the Pirate Radio Zoom Room. This is our press box edition. We're a man down, but the show must go on. So glad to be here with you. I'm Troy D, and let me welcome in my guy that's been riding shotgun with me a long time, Brian Bailey, Double B from Channel 9. Good to see you, B.
Good to be here.
Brian Meador, alongside for the ride, too, from ECU Athletics. Good to see you, Meador.
Always good to see you guys.
Nice hat, Meador.
It looks good. I like it.
I bought you that one, Bailey.
Sports Director Clip Rock. Good to see you, Clip.
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Weaver has a prior commitment. I think he had some I don't know if it's a medical appointment or not. I guess we could speculate on what Weaver's doing right now.
Which is a medical.
Would he be the first press box member to catch COVID, I guess? Would be.
I want a steak. I'm saying no, he doesn't have it, Troy. Are you on record as saying he does?
No, I'm just speculating. I have no evidence at all to say that he does. I thought he did back earlier this year. He was very sick when the coronavirus first started back in March and April. Remember when Weaver was out for like a week or two?
Oh, yeah. He made sure everybody knew it.
Clip, you knew, you had talked with him. I had talked with him. He sounded like he was on his deathbed. I was for sure that I thought he had COVID, and evidently I guess we were wrong.
All of us weren't wrong.
So that bet was finally paid off. I saw some pictures.
I made a bet with Bailey that back in that time, I was convinced that Weaver had COVID. And Bailey was convinced that he didn't, and I bet him a steak dinner. And evidently, the test came back negative for Weave back then, which I still question. But I paid off my bet to you, Bailey, last night. Hope you enjoyed that.
Very good. And Troy did pay off his bet.
Yeah, so that was the most important part.
Good man.
The funny part was I got a 12-ounce ribeye, and they charged him for a 16-ounce ribeye. That was hilarious to me.
Yeah, well, we got it fixed. Bailey wanted to get the special, like the ribeye for two, like the deal. And I was like, you want to split that? And he's like, no. I was just going to get the most expensive thing on the menu. Such a mooch. All right. Anyways, fun meal. We'll have to do it again, Bailey. Next time, maybe you can lose a bet and you can buy.
I don't think so.
But hopefully Weaver's okay. We're not speculating that he's sick now. That was a bet in the past, so I'm sure he's fine. All right, East Carolina, South Florida. This has got an opportunity for East Carolina. I would say, a bounce back game, but they haven't had a chance to bounce back from anything yet. So, this is their chance to rise up and finally get a win. Bailey, will it happen, do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be difficult because I think you have a team in East Carolina right now that's not playing with any kind of confidence at all on either side of the football. But, I do think in listening to what Coach Houston said and what Coach Kirkpatrick said this week that they feel like a lot of the mistakes that they made in the Georgia State game were mistakes that they could fix. So the question is, can you fix them all? They're still a little banged up on the offensive line. They've got to give Holton more time. They've got to come up with some kind of game plan that he gets the ball out faster. And I think all those, things, could happen, and I think they can win this game.
All right, Meador, your thoughts?
Well, the mistakes. I mean, Bailey touched on it a little bit, but, when we talked with Mike on Monday, some of the mistakes that are correctable, some of the interceptions. Now, when you're running for your life, you're trying to make something happen, you're trying to press. I think that's where Holton gets into trouble. And, the one interception that was the pick six is a throw he should never make. And that kind of takes the wind out of your sails when you're trying to come back. And you're taking away an opportunity to score 7 yourself, and you're handing them, gift wrapping them 7 right out of the gate. So, when I look at the overall scheme of what East Carolina has to go down there and do is they have to play a really good game, not a perfect game, obviously, but a really good game to have a chance to win.
Meador, one of the things I miss about not having regular press conferences and just doing it over Zoom is the interaction, the personal interaction you can have with coach. And a lot of times I'll talk to him beforehand or afterwards, off the record, off the air, and just you'll pick up bits and pieces and sometimes get a better feel for things. We don't have that luxury this year. You're one of the few people that might actually interact with him. He seemed a little chippy this week on the press on the.
I don't know what happens right before he walks in, sits down on a laptop, and he's knocking it out. It's hard to say, but I can tell you this: that's not the guy that Brian Bailey and I see on Mondays when we're doing the TV show. And he'll stay around and talk to us for 15 minutes, and we get. I mean, he's not divulging information that we couldn't share, because I think he'd tell anybody on the street if he runs into you. But I really believe, and he said it from day one, this wasn't going to be a quick turnaround fix. He's got to get his type of guy in there. He's got to get Big John a couple of years of building him up and making him the kind of player he wants. And then, 2 years from now, judge him on the results, not what you're seeing right now necessarily. Now, that doesn't give them a free pass when they go out there and don't know what they're doing. I'm not saying that's what we do, but I do think that you have to be patient and see, let's see the thing play out, not judge him on 2 years. I mean, it took Frank Beamer 6 years before he got anywhere with Bot Tech. I know it's a different landscape we're in now, but if look behind the scenes, it's not chaos like it was under JT, like it was under Mo. You could see the chaos, and that's not what's happening over there. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a big fan of Mike's, and we'll see where this is in 2 years. But I think we'll be okay.
And Clip, Mike Houston strikes me as a guy that doesn't like to lose, isn't used to losing. So some of this could be a little bit of that, just frustration that he's going through something that he's not very happy about.
No doubt. And I mean, the good news this week is South Florida might have more offensive issues than East Carolina. So, maybe he'll be happy and chipper Monday or Tuesday this week because they do have a shot in this game. But yeah, look at what he's done everywhere he's been. He's won championships. So he's not used to being 4 and whatever last year or 0-2 this year. And hopefully he can turn around.
What do you guys think about, there's a lot of buzz out there about the quarterback situation. Look, we're big Holton fans. We've known him since he was a kid. There are some folks that, want to see, well, what is Garcia all about? I've been saying all along, look, I don't care if Tom Brady's quarterback right now. If the offensive line can't block, I don't know if it's going to make a big difference either way. Bailey, I'll throw it to you first.
I agree with that. And I just, it's always the backup quarterback syndrome. Fans just love to clamor around the hope that the other guy brings. And I think those coaches see everything in practice. And Mike Houston said it a couple of times that Garcia is going to be a good quarterback here. There's no doubt. If he stays the course, he's going to be an awesome quarterback. He's got all the tools. But Holton, he showed last year he can be a really, really good quarterback too. But you got to run routes better, which is what Donnie K said the other night. You got to block better. You guys got to have everything going. And to what Meador said about this is year 2, but it's really not even quite year 2 because of all the problems. They didn't get spring practice. They didn't get the summer camp. So we really are like in 1.3 or so of the Mike Houston era. And I think that that's going to be a big deal because I really think that the way Coach Houston wants this team to be under Big John and in such great shape that you can beat some teams by just being in better shape. And I don't think they've gotten to that point this year because of the problems with COVID-19.
Yeah, Cliff, Meador, do you guys want to add anything?
Well, I mean, years ago, Rio Johnson was the starter. We wanted Shane Carden. And then Minshew was the starter. We wanted Cirque. And then Herring was the starter. We wanted Ehlers. And now Ehlers is the starter, and we want Garcia. It happens all the time. Holden hasn't been good. He'll tell you that. But you've got plenty of time to bring Garcia along. You don't have to throw him into the fire right away. We're only 2 games into the season. So I'd like to see him for a snap or two. But Ehlers is the starter, and Ehlers has won game series, put up some monster numbers here already in his career. So he's the guy right now. Garcia is the guy of the future.
All right, it's the first night game of the year, 7 o'clock kickoff. So we'll start at 3 o'clock on the Bud Light pregame tailgate on all our platforms for Pirate Radio. Will that be a factor at all, playing under the lights for the first time? Guys?
No. I think the atmosphere in itself it's going to be I guess we're getting used to it, not having fans. I mean, I thought Eric Ward did a really good job. If you were there, I know Bailey was there, but creating some noise. But it's still an empty stadium. It's still just a strange feeling. When we walked in, I was thinking, I'm used to the hustle and the bustle going around, and you walk in, you go into your office, you sit down, and it took a third of the time it usually takes, navigating through people. And I hear Coach when he says, no, we're in tunnel vision once the game starts. No. Those players get off on hearing the fans go nuts. When you're beating your chest on empty bleachers, what is that? What is throwing your hands in the air to make more crowd noise? There's nobody out there, It's just weird. Turn it up. That's it.
I think more so than the night game. Bailey, you talked to Darrell Sims about it on the Brian Bailey Show Mondays at noon on Pirate Radio and at 6.
Oh, boy.
But you talked about playing in an NFL stadium. I think that's a factor this week. How do the guys kind of adjust to those surroundings playing at Raymond James?
Yeah, I think, they're kind of used to the fact that when you play at Raymond James, you don't have a big crowd anyway. So, but I think the guys do get jacked up to play in an NFL stadium, and I think that's going to be a benefit. And with Tom Brady and those guys playing tonight, they may be back in Tampa and maybe walking around the stadium, hanging out or something, maybe.
And I forgot, will their fans be allowed in Tampa. Rules are a little bit.
Yeah,
They are.
So what's the percentage down there?
I think it's 11,000, but it's like 8 in the lower bowl and 3 in suites. Meador, Bailey.
Yeah, that's close. I heard 10 and change. So yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
I mean, that'll be if 10,000 people show up, that'll feel like a legitimate crowd in this environment.
I actually have some friends who are starving so bad to see a game. They're driving down there to see it. So.
And like you said, Troy, it's kind of a normal crowd for a USF home game.
Right. Yeah. Feel very different. All right, so East Carolina, South Florida, both teams struggling, both teams looking for a win. Weaver has sent me his prediction in, so he is calling it 31-27 for the Bulls. So 31-27. Bailey, I'll throw it to you next for your score prediction.
Well, yeah, what I need to do is predict South Florida to win, because usually when I pick the other team, that's when the Pirates play their best and they get a victory. I'm going to go East Carolina squeaks it out 28-24. Kind of a defensive struggle, and I think the Pirates get the 4 touchdowns this time, 28-24.
All right. Meador, your
Bailey's looking at my sheet. I had 28-24. All right, I'm gonna switch it up though. We're gonna get a field goal in there. 31. I'm gonna go.
Change it. Go with your gut instinct.
No, I'm not picking what he picks. 31-27 Pirates.
No, well now you can't.
I had a field goal in each one. All right. I think ECU wins a hard-fought game. I do.
31-27 Pirates.
Yeah.
All right. You and Weave have the same score, just 2 different teams winning. Cliff.
Yeah, that's not the same score.
I know.
All right. Well, first of all, last week Troy made a huge deal about our scores for the UCF game, and he averaged the scores, and he talked about it for 45 minutes. It has not been brought up this week because I was the only one that got it right, so I wanted to put that out there.
Full disclosure: Cliff was the only person that got the game right last week.
We would have led off with that if it was maybe some other people, but whatever.
We would have trumpets playing behind Troy if he was the only one that got it right. Are you kidding me?
No doubt. I'm going to go.
I did mean to mention that, Clip, so I'm glad you brought that up. For real.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, he meant it.
He meant it. Thought
He bought me a steak about 2 months ago, too.
All right. I'm very similar. Rooster necks stick together. I'm similar to Weaver here. I got South Florida 31, ECU 23.
31-23, South Florida. I was originally going to go for the Bulls, but then I'm like, man, I don't know. This is like my last chance to like feel good about ECU actually getting a victory here. So I'm going to go with the Pirates. I'm going to go 35-30 ECU. I think they squeak it out.
It's your last chance for the Pirates to win a game? Come on.
Well,
We're not playing
that I
SEC.
can feel real good about it. If you look at the schedule, how many other sure wins do you notch in there?
Oh, there are no
Sure
sure
wins.
wins out there. No, there are no sure wins out there.
How many easy wins do you see that?
I mean, what?
How many easy wins do you see?
Well, there's no easy wins.
There were no easy wins coming into this season. I mean,
Right. I think that they'd be very difficult. This is like their last best chance to get a win this season. So I'm going to take them. I hope they have many more wins. But if I go against them here, I don't know when I'd be able to pick them again. If they lose to South Florida. If we lose to South Florida, will we win a game this season? Maybe that's
They've got a great history of rolling over Navy. Come on.
I'm picking them the rest of the way, man. I got to pay the bills. I can't lose my job because I come on the Zoom. I'm Captain Optimistic, bro.
All right, just to recap, Weaver, 31-27, South Florida. Clip is also going with South Florida, 31-23. And then me, Bailey, and Meador are going with ECU. I've got 35-30. Bailey's got 28-24, and Meador's got 31-27. So
add them all up and figure out what the average is. But
I will do that, and I will put that out there for you on Twitter, Bailey.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys.
Tell me in a couple hours. Tell me when you couple hours and you figure that out. All right.
I'll get my twin boys to help me figure out.
Get Tyler and Bryce. They'll do it.
They're doing that in 7th grade math right now. All right. Until we talk to you next week, you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll do it again next time. Thanks, guys.